The global annual cost of cybercrime is predicted to reach $9.5 trillion this year. Among the biggest data breaches so far in 2024, AT&T, Move It, and Ticketmaster, all with the intent of stealing our data, and hackers don't discriminate. Well, let's welcome Dr. Ian O'Byrne, Associate Professor of Literacy at the College of Charleston. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
So first, can you bridge the gap between the College of Literacy and cybercrime, what we're here to talk about today?
Okay, so when we're thinking about literacy, we're talking about the ways in which individuals read, write, communicate, participate, interact with others. A lot of our world is increasingly global. So when we go to buy a coffee at our local shop, there might be contactless payments. We might use an app to help us figure out how to get directions there. We might, check in with our friends on social media to let them know exactly what we had. So a lot of times we're leaving these digital breadcrumbs behind. So in my work, I look at literacy education, reading, writing, communicating, participating, but increasingly, how do we do that in a global space? How do we prepare youth? How do we act as adults, and how do we interact with each other in a way that is safe, secure, but everyone can express themselves?
To me, it sounds like there's a lot of reading the fine print when you're talking about literacy and understanding the technological world in which we live.
Well, we're thinking about the ways that people interact with each other, but also interact with different texts. So yes, there are terms of use, terms of service, TOU, TOS, for most apps. We can have a little bit of talk about whether or not people read those things or not.
Well, yeah, and I have my assumption, which I rarely do.
Yeah, and the other thing is that we have to assume that the businesses, the developers that are sharing these materials with us are sharing everything that they're doing with their data. So we need more focus on data and data literacy. So one of the things we want to think about is, okay, as we're interacting, we want to figure out what we're learning, where we're learning it, who we're interacting with. But most importantly, we want to think about, our most important commodity right now is our attention and the data that we leave behind. And so that's what's attractive to groups out there.
And that's important for adults, but it's also important to teach kids about this. So how early should we be teaching children about data literacy?
I think that when students are 5, 6 years of age, we need to start having these discussions.
That young?
Yeah, well, the thing is that if you think about a student, a 10-year-old is starting to ask caregivers for a cell phone. They're starting to ask for these devices. And so that means we need to have a lot of dialogue and open communication before we get to that point. So one of the things that we've looked at in research with some of my colleagues and friends is thinking about, okay, how would we talk about privacy, security? How would we talk about algorithms? How would we talk about data and data literacy with 5, 6-year-old kids? And it's relatively easy. We cannot wait for those discussions to come. Parents, caregivers, educators need to start those discussions with people, with kids, sooner rather than later. And
today, children and adolescents who are getting into grade school, so much of their learning is done over a computer. We certainly saw that during the pandemic, but we've seen technology being incorporated into classrooms more and more over the years. So how do you also teach them to be careful when issued, say, a school-issued device, for instance, because now you're sharing the same machine with the next person and the person before you. So how do you know that your data that you put in there is not going to be misrepresented or misused?
Well, K-12 is starting up right now. As K-12 starts up, as kids go back to school, kindergarten through 12th grade, as I have students on my campus starting up, we are asking them to sign into new systems, use new apps, get a new app to figure out where the bus is and figure out what your kid's doing in school and what their grades look like, communicate with teachers. And so we should have dialogue. Open communication is key with our students to figure out what they're signing up for, why. Parents and caregivers should also be involved in this discussion. Employees and businesses should be involved in this to figure out, what am I signing up for? What data am I giving up? What privacy concerns? And then also, when my time here is done, how can I remove that? So some schools have data deletion days. every single district, in my opinion, should have a data deletion day where at some point that data is removed. If a student leaves the district, if someone leaves their job, there should be precedent in place to figure out, okay, how do I get rid of this data, or can I take that with me? So there's a lot of trust. It's not just trust on the part of you and the developer, but it's also trust in you, the employer, or the administrator for the school district to figure out what they're doing with that data.
And we didn't even touch upon the social aspect of the internet and social media, and how once you put something of yourself out there, it's almost impossible to unring that bell. But there are companies that you can hire that could scrub the internet and essentially delete your existence. However, that comes with a cost as well. It's better just to kind of keep that horse before it's left the barn.
Well, I think, we have decisions to make as human beings about what we put online and what we don't share. That's a broader sociological, individual discussion that people have to have. There is growing research, there is growing sentiment about what is that doing to us on a personal level, emotionally. You know, with these connections that we have with friends, is an online friend really online? We could talk about that for a long time.
We certainly could.
But I think that one of the things we need to be aware of is, with issues of privacy and security, the easiest way to think about it is if you look at a house. So my house is secure because I lock the windows and the doors. I have privacy because I close my curtains and my blinds. We should view the digital spaces that we inhabit in much the same way we do the offline spaces, and think about what remnants we're leaving behind.
Excellent advice, and I think we should bring you back on to talk more about this. This is a really good topic. Thank you so much for joining us.
No worries. Thank you so much.
We're back in 2 minutes.